Hello, 5th grade. This is Mr. Bowlby. One of our first video demonstrations is going to take place today. This is sort of new for us, so you'll have to let me know if you like it or not. We're going to travel across the Atlantic Ocean today and explore an area of the world called the Middle East. And though in the news you could find stories about some of the countries in the Middle East that are not getting along quite so well, that doesn't mean they are not a country that admires design and has artworks of their own. And so the artwork of this area is what we're going to explore. And most importantly, that is the symbol that we're going to look at for them is called a Hamsa, H-A-M-S-A. And I've not only do I have here in front of me some of those designs, I've given you some too, as well at your table to take a look at. Some of the noteworthy countries in the Middle East, as you can see here, we have Egypt, Saudi Arabia is one you may have heard of, Syria, Israel, Turkey, Iran and Iraq, Libya over here next to Egypt as well. And one of the important things I want you to know about this area is that sort of centered around Israel there and Egypt is a place where a lot of very common religions were founded. So Christianity, Islam, the Jewish faith was also founded in that area. So a lot of the world's most important religions came out of this area. And we're going to take a look at a symbol that area holds in high regard. The Hamsa is a 5-fingered symbol. Hamsa actually translates into the word 5. And it's a symbol containing an eye within a palm. And this symbol is said to ward off evil, and that it is a sort of providing protection to someone who might not only have it in their home, but sometimes they wear this as a charm on a necklace. Some of them even, I don't know if you've ever seen the ink tattoos, some of them are temporary. Some of them might have drawn this on their arm or their shoulder as a form of protection as well. So let's take a look at what we need here. I'm going to spread these out so you can look at the ones that are up here. I want you to talk to your neighbors for a moment. I'm going to stay quiet up here in the video. I want you to turn to them, and there are a few things I want you to identify as similar or common about all of these designs. I'll give you the first one, and that's that they always contain 5 fingers and an eye inside the palm. What else do you notice? I want you to turn to your neighbors there, and I want you to identify a few things that are the same about all these, and I'll be back with you here in a moment. Go ahead. Okay, boys and girls, great work. I hope that in your discussion with your neighbors, we already mentioned that all Hamsa designs have 5 fingers. I hope that you noticed that the pinky and the thumb typically are the same style, and in our hand that's just not quite the same. My thumb is very different than my pinky, but in the Hamsa designs, not only do they not resemble those fingers very much, they're sort of a curved pointed design. They are the same on both sides. Another thing I want you to notice is that though when I spread my hand out, my pointer finger is a tiny bit shorter than my ring finger. That is not seen in the Hamsa designs. They are almost always the 2 side fingers are the exact same height. We already talked about the eye within the palm. I hope you noticed that there are sort of sections in the Hamsa design, so we could consider this finger one section, above the eye here another section. The artists of these Hamsa designs, they sort of break up space and add in those spaces designs that are small and intricate. And I'm going to add one more thing here. I'm going to write the word repetition because I see a lot of that repetition. And I'm going to add the word symmetry because I'll point out that here I see a lot of repetition in the Hamsa design. So these three fingers are the same. Some symmetry here. So we have the pinky and the thumb here. The designs are the same, and the same thing sort of happening down here, where I could break this into two halves, and both sides are the same. I might encourage you to include some of that in your design. What are we up to today? Well, on your gold paper, you're going to use your own three fingers to trace out the top portion of your Hamsa design. Remember though that other finger, we're going to give a little extra space there because those were pretty consistently the same size in the Hamsa designs. We're going to add our own sort of flair in the pinky and the thumb. We're not tracing those portions, and we're also not going to trace the bottom part of the palm here because those are an opportunity for us to show our own sort of design there. And the rest of the Hamsa design is up to you. I'm going to encourage you to take time to break up space a little bit. So you might just create some sections in your Hamsa design where within those sections you'll take time to create some design work. And eventually, one of my the most exciting things about this project to me is we're going to, next class, transfer this design into a new material for us. This is a very thin sheet of metal. Artists use this because it captures all sorts of little details when you draw on it, and they're left behind within the metal for good. And this is, again, something we haven't used before, and I'd like to save that for next class. I hope that excites you to sort of learn about a new material that we've never touched before. But again, that's next class. What I need from you today, by the end of class, is to have a Hamsa design that is your own, something that you're very proud of. Could you be inspired by some of the things that you see at your table? Of course. Should you try to come up with some things on your own? Yes. And I look very much forward to seeing what you come up with by the end of class.